The Angels 2014. The Angels world champions. Oh, and first pitch crushing.
Hey, welcome into another episode of Halos in the Infield, the podcast with your host Todd Fox and the other host of the show.
Howdy, y'all. This is Fernando.
Uh-oh. Is that Texas Fernando?
No, I'm still in California. But
Okay, good.
it'll be Texas Fernando. So right now I'm like, what's up, bro? Welcome to Halos in the Infield, bro.
He was warming up in the bullpen as Texas Fernando. So he's getting ready.
Yeah. There you go. The arm barn.
Oh, the arm barn.
What did you think about that when Peter was like, you guys shouldn't call it the bullpen anymore? It should be the arm barn.
Just another thing to cancel, man. I mean, it's one thing we got rid of the disabled list. It's the injured list now. So, I mean, I guess whatever. I mean,
I still call it the DL all the time, but whatever.
yeah, right. I mean, it's not
Whatever.
trademark.
Cancel Fernando. Yeah, right. That's why I'm going to get canceled because I called the DL.
Right. Jeez. Out of all the things that we've said on this page.
Yeah, that's going to be what does it over. I don't mind. I don't mind switching the name bullpen, whatever, but I don't like arm barn. It's not bad. It's just
Yeah, but I mean, are Bulls really protesting outside of baseball games? I mean, what's going on with that? I mean, are they saying it's bullshit? I mean,
if
see what I did
they
there?
can. I see what you did there.
Yeah, thank you.
Super Halo Bros level joke.
Exactly.
Very dad joke of you.
Very
dad joke of you.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to those guys though.
Absolutely. Keep it going, by the way. Hey, so what we're here for is Talking Angels baseball. And before we do, give us a 5-star liking on our podcast here. That helps us out a lot in the algorithm, or leave us a comment. And then also check us out on YouTube. If you don't like listening to podcasts, you want to watch this from the comfort of your home or your phone, whatever, tablet, there you are right there. We're going to be talking Angels baseball. We're going to be, as we always do, we're going to be talking about the series that was, which was the Chi Sox series. And then we're going to delve into the Red Sox series and take a look ahead on how the Angels and what we think they're going to do in Beantown. So what do you want to get started with, Fernando, or you got something before we get into the baseball?
What's your opinion on Chicago deep dish pizza?
I love it. My opinion, it might
his eyes
differ
got
from
bigger
you.
when he said love it.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I've only had it a couple times, bro, but something about eating that thick pizza with a knife and fork is very, very appetizing.
Okay. Have you ever had it in Chicago?
Yes, sir. Twice. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember what restaurant?
It was something like Angelito's or something. It was right in the heart of downtown. I know that. It was like right by the Trump Tower.
Okay.
It was right down
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like heart of downtown.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so most of you guys probably know who listen to this show regularly. I'm in Chicago every single month for work. I've been going there once a month, sometimes more than once a month since like July of 2020. So I'm like burnt out on Chicago pizza because people ask me, do you eat Chicago pizza all the time? I think like I haven't had it like in 4 months. And it's just because once again, I mean, if you're having it multiple times a month, it kind of loses its luster, but I do like Chicago style pizza. I like Giordano's better, but I normally stay in a town called Bolingbrook. And in Bolingbrook, Giordano's doesn't deliver there. So I have to order Lou Malnati's to the hotel because I don't want to go work out of the gym, go shower, and then have to go get my pizza. I want to deliver to the room.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a
very
thing
first world.
Oh, absolutely. First world problems. And the thing is too, I mean, that's when they say, hey, you want a pie? It's literally a pie, dude. I mean, like it's layered pretty thick.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. I'm a fan overall. I think between like Detroit style, New York style, and the Chicago style, like the three main, like what people compare, Chicago is probably my favorite. Like you said, I like cutting into the pizza, like the toppings being inside. That's the good business right there.
Absolutely.
But one last thing, Wrigley Field, step up your pizza game. Your pizza game is horrible. I haven't been to Wrigley this year, but I went last year, and like they have some of the worst ballpark food. When I went there, I thought they were gonna have some like Chicago style pizza, maybe some individual size. It was horrible. Didn't even have that.
What about their hot dogs? Because they are. Well, I heard they're famous for their ballpark dogs.
Did I get a? I think I did get a hot dog. I mean, it was a Chicago dog, but I mean, you can get that from anywhere in Chicago.
True,
You know what I
true,
mean? You can go
true.
outside literally down the street to a hot dog vendor and probably get a better version because nothing's better than those street vendors.
Absolutely. Even here in Anaheim, those dogs are worth
Yeah,
it.
they
when
make it with love.
Oh yeah, bacon wrapped and everything.
Yeah, have you noticed that outside of Angel Stadium now when you're leaving, there's the people who are making the bacon wrap hot dogs? I am super in on that. Artie, don't do anything about it, please.
He hasn't so far, and it's funny because when we try to peddle some of our gear there, we got kicked off the premises, but they're able to do their hot dogs whenever they want. So,
Well, I've seen other pages do like stuff that I'm like, how come we got in trouble for that? That's racist. That's racist.
Exactly.
I can call it racist.
It's because I'm white.
Well, I mean, you're white.
There you go. All right, well, let's get this show on the road.
Time to
here.
cancel Todd again.
Exactly. I've been canceled like 11 times this season. 11.
Yeah, we're gonna start having a board. When I move in the new man cave, it'll say Todd canceled, and we'll just put like a tally mark. I'll get a little whiteboard.
There you go. All right, well, let's start off with a series, how we got going here. The Shy Sox are a team that traditionally the Angels have problems with. And was it me, or was there any type of sun in this entire series? I didn't see one sun ray. It was just gray and gloomy with some rain all 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's Chicago. I mean, I was there, last week, and it was the same thing. It was gloomy, 40 to 55 degrees. On the brink of raining. There'll be, some sprinkles, and then it'll just kind of stop. We kind of saw that on Saturday, too. It rained for a little bit, but all we were hearing was this game's going to be postponed. This game's going to be delayed. The game's going to be canceled. And the rain delay wasn't even that severe.
Yeah, with the exception of that one at bat with Trout, that's about it. And we'll get into that one because that was game 2 or whatever. But game one in Chicago, that was Friday afternoon, correct?
Yeah, so that was a bullpen game. Jimmy Herget got the start for the Angels. It was supposed to be Thor, and Giolito got the start for the White Sox. And the Angels won this game. They won 5-1, and it was not even close. It was a blowout through and through.
Yeah, it was one of those start to finish games. Giolito is a really good pitcher. Fastball, slider, curve, his changeup is really devastating when he's pinpointing that fastball. And you would have thought Jimmy Herget's got no chance. Noah went down with a stomach flu or whatever he had, and he just went in there, pitched more than Madden thought he would, and then you had Warren with 2 innings, and I forget who followed up after that. But they did a solid job, and it was a little dicey in the 9th. But hey, you walk out of there with a 5-1 victory, and that was their 6th straight in a row.
Yeah, so like you said, it was Herget, Warren, Bradley, Super Looper, Tepera, Mayers, and Rysel.
Yeah, I mean, and they were pitching like that because they figured, like you said, Saturday's game was going to be completely rained out. They were saying, "Oh, it's going to be a doubleheader for Sunday. Don't worry about it. You can throw out the bullpen tonight, and you won't need them for Saturday." That was the whole idea.
Yeah, well, that didn't pan out, did it?
No, it didn't. But offensively, who shined in that game for the Angels?
So Ohtani hit a home run, right? And then Taylor Ward, it stayed hot. I'm sure we're gonna talk about him as the series goes on, but man, oh man, has he just been on an absolute tear. The guy could do no wrong.
Absolutely. What did you think about that when he went into the dugout and did the whole tipping of the cap? I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, at the very end, he's all, It was kind of like the old school commercials where the cowboy winks as he tips his cap. He smiles and his teeth sparkle.
Yeah, exactly.
Like ka-ching.
and he looks like a legit cowboy. I mean, he's got that look to him. And like he'd try to steal your daughter if you're living in the old West or whatever. But
he's gonna steal your wife.
Yeah, there you go. That too, with a 6-shooter on his side. But he's been electric at that number 1 spot. If he's not having a good at bat, even if he's getting out, he's ripping a single to left or going the other way. So it was a very good game for him. And Ohtani showed his power going to left center field, just driving it into the wind.
Yeah, man. Taylor Ward, 28 years old, or I shouldn't say only, I mean, 28 years old is the point where most people are entering the prime of their career.
Mhm.
And as of right now, it's looking like this could be him entering the prime of his career. We saw glimpses last year, right?
Mhm.
He was hot for periods of time, but this year he looks like a different player. He's having good at bats. He's having, timely at bats, and he's not trying to do too much, yet he's succeeding. He's not overdoing a swing, but it's going over the fence.
Mhm.
He's, good base running, good defense. He is a good major league caliber player as we currently stand right now. Almost 60 at bats, still batting 390. 390.
Yeah, and like you said, defensively, he's been outstanding. And he's beaten out a couple throws at first base, on grounders. My question to you is, and he'll come up a lot in this series as we move along as well. Joe Adell, I feel Ward is where Joe Adell should be. Do you agree with that?
Well, we're also comparing a guy who's 23 years old to a guy who's 28.
Mm-hmm. But he's more highly touted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, one of these guys is barely old enough to drink.
Yeah.
By 2 years.
True.
So, I mean, is it a little unfair? Maybe. I mean, look, Taylor Ward, how many times would people have probably said, we need to DFA this guy like 3 or 4 years ago?
Oh, yeah. A lot.
Grillmaster was probably having, Otani kind of moangasms when he was saying, time to DFA Ward.
Yeah, he probably had Taylor Ward crispy socks hanging up with DFA written on them. So
there you go. So, yeah, I mean, is it a little early? I mean, look, I'm frustrated with Joe Adell. Everyone is. This is not a hot take. It's not a controversial take.
Mm-hmm.
Do we expect more out of him? Absolutely. Especially because we're eating $28 million for Adell to get at bats.
Yeah. Well, see,
I understand Ward is stepping up. Great. But you still expected Adell to step up. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Good point. What I was just going to tag on to that is I had someone in the comments today on the postgame show say no, because I said, well, we gave the keys to the car to Adell because we got rid of Upton. But one of the fans said no, it was Ward's because out of spring training, and then we gave the keys to the car to Marsh, and Adell's just trying to keep up. Do you agree with that, or was it the other way around?
Now that I think about it, I do believe Madden did say that Ward was supposed to be a starter, but he got injured.
Okay.
But, yeah, and I mean, I think Marsh was the more major league ready going into this year. Mm-hmm. Because the thing with Marsh consistently has good at-bats. And Marsh doesn't try to do too much. I feel like Joe Adell tries too hard sometimes. He needs to simplify what he's doing. Remember why he's getting the opportunity that he is. Nobody can deny the fact that he's a talented player. Mm-hmm. He's got the skills. He really does. We've seen it. He's got the swing. His swing looks much better than it did in 2020. Mm-hmm. The 2020 Adell looked like a high schooler who got thrown into the major leagues and was like, here you go, bro, go figure it out. It looked like a guy who doesn't know how to swim. You just dropped him in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean off the Titanic and said, deuces, bro. Go find a door to swim on. But Joe Adell is a much different player today than he was in 2020.
Oh, absolutely.
Leaps and bounds better. But unfortunately, right now, I do believe Joe Adell's on the outside looking in. Taylor Ward is a couple steps ahead of him. Brandon Marsh is a couple steps ahead of both of them, I believe. I understand Ward's hot right now, but honestly, if there's a clutch situation, I feel more confident that Brandon Marsh is going to have a more productive at-bat than Ward. I've yet to see Taylor Ward really turn it on when the pressure is on. And, that's kind of the benefit, though, being a leadoff hitter. You don't really have the pressure on you as much.
Absolutely. And it's going to be fun to watch these guys progress. We're not going to be having a good time if things happen like they did with Adell. And speaking of Marsh in this series, as we move on, this wasn't his best series offensively. He kept it together defensively, or when he did get on base, he was a threat out there to steal, and he did do some things on the base pads, but he didn't exactly hit. But before this series, he was doing his thing. Like you said, he was playing defensively, stealing bases, hitting runs, moving guys over, getting clutch hits. I mean, he's still technically the leader in the clubhouse with the most RBIs. So he's gotten off to a bit of a hot start, but this last series slowed down. It's Adele we're worried about. Yes, he hit 4 homers last year. He's got 3 now, or he hit 5 last year, I think. He's got 3 now or 4 now, something like that. So that's better than it was last year, but I still think he's just like he's swinging too far outside the zone. You know what I mean? Like he's got to shorten up his swing. I feel like right now he's just got too wide of a swing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's something that he adjusts. Maybe one of our hitting coaches will help him. Your boy Paul Serena or Jeremy Reed.
Yeah, but he's gonna be like, Coach.
Jeremy's like, did you get this new Magmar shiny Pokemon?
He's all Paul. Look, how many times I gotta tell you these nachos taste really good, but I don't see how this is helping my stance.
Yeah, he's like Marsh, Trout, and Rendon already got sick, and probably Noah Syndergaard. So I don't need those nachos, bro.
Yeah, it's nacho night to give those nachos to me. I'm gonna stay vegan.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we need to give those to the Dodgers before the Dodgers series.
Yes, load them up with beans as well. Old
There you
stagnant
go. Extra beans. Extra frijol. Extra frijoles. But yeah, man, Ward hit a home run. Ohtani hit a home run that first game. Overall, just a good game by the Angels, right? Their bullpen came in and held it together because they weren't expecting to have a bullpen game, yet they figured it out. They got it done.
Absolutely.
Great pitching all around, really.
Yeah, and that gave us complete I literally woke up on Saturday morning thinking, okay, I'm going to get to, certain things. But then I had, my daughter almost have her kid. So I was tied up for most of the day, but I didn't think they were going to get that game in. So I was shocked to see the notifications on my phone, you guys talking about it, that the game's getting underway. And it was
I remember you saying that you weren't going to be able to do the post game that day because, you were expecting to have to rush to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's not going to be a game today.
Yeah.
Because I was in Chicago that day. I flew in. Mm-hmm. I went from Newark, New Jersey to Chicago. Mm-hmm. And the flight into Chicago was crazy. A lot of turbulence. Mm-hmm. We had to go around the storm. And then I was like, dude, there's no way they're going to play this game today.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I was wrong.
Speaking of which, how was the turbulence, man? Because I get freaked out with turbulence. Was it just like the little bumpy type, or was it actually violent?
There was we probably free fell like 10 feet a couple times, you know what I mean? Where you just literally just kind of fall down. I mean, I fly so much now that it's whatever. I used to not be able to sleep on airplanes, but I mean, when you're flying, 15 times a month, I don't sleep anywhere now. So I might as well just sleep on the airplane. If I die, I'm like, whatever.
Man, I don't know how you do it, bro, but even the most littlest bumps in turbulence, I freak out. So I can't imagine falling 10 feet, dude. Ugh.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. Not the worst flight I've ever had. One time I flew in also from Newark, New Jersey to Chicago, except that time I was staying in Chicago for a couple of days for work. And that time, I don't know what was going on. It's only like an hour and a half flight from there. Mm-hmm. And the whole time we were just falling. And I remember when we got to the airport, we also fell like 10 feet. The pilot apologized. He was like, sorry, guys, misjudged that. Everyone's just there like, oh, my God.
You guys are probably like, don't misjudge next time.
Yeah, right. Do your job, bro.
Exactly.
Stay away from the bars.
So what happened in game 2? Because obviously that one got started on time. What happened in that one?
El Demente made his last start before getting demoted. So he's 0-2. He threw 4 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and gave up 2 home runs. Jose Suarez's ERA currently sits at 6.35, and he went up against Velasquez of the White Sox, Vince Velasquez. He's now 1-2 with a 4.58 ERA.
Yeah, in that game, the knockout blow was what was his number 88 or whatever from Chicago? Was it Robert or something like that? Robert. Yeah, he had a 3-run homer. It was 1-0 forever in the first few innings. Angels just couldn't get nothing against Velasquez in that one. But then the rain delay hit and it just started pouring down, and then they weren't able to. They restarted, but then nothing. They couldn't scratch anything across later on in the game too. They didn't try moving the runners over. It seemed like they just had a different approach. And thoughts on Suarez? Okay, because on the pod, and in the post game, I've been trying to see if Madden would, correct me if I'm wrong. This is just my opinion, but I want to get your opinion on it because I haven't asked you about Suarez yet. Like, I like the dude. I think he can be something. But it just feels to me like Madden just does not want to let him get himself out of situations because, he's always pulling in the 4th inning. Do you think it's Suarez not showing that he could do it, or it's Madden with a quick hook?
I think Madden just historically has a quick hook. I mean, we've seen it throughout his entire time here in Anaheim, right?
Mm-hmm.
He never lets his pitchers work out of jams, which wouldn't be horrible if Madden's bullpen management wasn't just god awful.
Correct.
I mean, people seem to forget Joe Madden almost cost the Cubs the World Series.
Yeah.
He put in Aroldis Chapman way too early. He misused Aroldis Chapman. And I mean, he does it here once in a while with Rysel.
Mm-hmm.
We will get to it. But Rysel was misused on that Sunday game.
Correct.
And then last year was misused to start the year because people originally were super against Rysel Iglesias before he went on his tear, in like May on. But in April last year, Rysel was bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we'll get into why he was so bad too, like you said. But do you think Suarez eventually will get to maybe not to a Sandoval level, but to a level to where we could trust him to pitch us 5, maybe 6 innings every now and then?
I sure hope so. I like Suarez. I like his attitude. He looks like a guy who people like to be around.
Mm-hmm.
You always see him around other guys. They're like, different things. People love guys who are confident. People do not like people who are arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference. Trout is confident. Trout shows up, plays the game, and leaves. That is who Mike Trout is. Mike Trout just has the talent. There's some guys who don't have that God-given talent. They have to work at it. There is so many people who say that Scottie Pippen was a much more talented player than Michael Jordan. Difference is Michael Jordan put in the effort.
Correct.
I know a guy who my ex-high school wide receiver coach, and I did not play wide receiver, played basketball with him in Carolina. And he because of that, he went to some Bulls games, and he always told me, he was like, man, Scottie Pippen was so much better than Michael Jordan. So it doesn't matter, what your talent level is. It's always if you're willing to put in the work. I don't exactly know the amount of work that Jose Suarez puts in, but it does look like he has work ethic from every indication that we have.
True. And I hope he just doesn't turn into Jaime Biera 2.0 because I feel for him too. Yeah. I think he has the stuff that can get it done. I don't think there's going to be a spot here for him. So I would imagine that he's going to be dealt, unfortunately. But because I was surprised in the bullpen game that Jaime wasn't used at all, and in this series as well at all, he wasn't really used. He could have came out and finished things up after the rain delay, but nothing there either. So
he did.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's a game he got
on Saturday.
In.
Yeah,
okay,
he pitched 3 innings, gave up no runs.
We'll see.
Unfortunately, Jaime's always just kind of been a 4A kind of guy.
Yeah, unfortunately. Because, it seems like when they do give him an opportunity to start, he won't take advantage of it. But then he'll be in the bullpen for a while, and he'll pitch himself back into your hearts, and you're like, oh, man, I want to see him start, and then cycle all over again.
Yeah, he's only 25 years old, so.
Yeah.
He still has a little bit of time left. I'm trying to think, what year was it that he was really good? 2018, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2018, he was 10-9 with a 3.41 ERA in 26 games pitched, and he threw 129 innings. That's a pretty decent sample size.
Yeah, especially for the Angels.
Yeah, right. That's did he lead the team that year? in innings pitched.
I know career
Actually, I
high.
think that was I think Andrew Heaney that season threw 200 innings,
That's a shocker.
if
Wow.
memory serves correctly.
Man, insane. It's insane how far the innings have fallen off for a lot of these pitchers. So,
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the common denominator there? It's your boy Joe Madden.
yeah, and analytics as well.
Yeah, that's true. We're in a much different age of baseball.
Absolutely. So we lost that game, breaking the 6-game win streak. So we followed it up with a Sunday afternoon game or morning game in Chicago, which featured who was it? Oh, Mike Lorenzen.
Oh, he only pitched 180 innings, by the way, in 2018. I just looked it up. That's still a lot for Andrew Heaney.
Oh, okay.
On Sunday?
Yes.
So we won 6-5 that game.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was Lorenzen versus Kaikou, correct?
Sorry, I decided to have a cough attack. Yes, Dallas Keuchel.
Okay, Dallas Kaikou,
And
who traditionally does good against us. Sorry.
yeah, historically he's killed.
Yeah, but this year not so much. He's off to a bad start with his ERA.
Yeah, so he's 1-3, 5 innings pitched. He gave up 4 runs, all of them earned. Walked 5 Angels players, and he gave up a home run.
Yeah, I did first inning to Trout, right?
Yep.
And then
That was Trout's 6th of the year.
yeah, to lead the league. I think he's tied with Guerrero for 6 or something like that. And then you had what is it called? They had 9 walks in that game, so they had constant pressure on Chicago White Sox pitching.
Yeah, Burr gave up 2 walks. Ruiz gave up 1 walk, and then Banks gave up the last walk.
Mm-hmm. And the Angels scored some runs in that game. Now here's where we're going to start getting into some of the Joe Adell slander. He had a few miscues in this game. He would ironically have the game-winning hit, though. He gave him the 6th run late in the game.
The double, yeah.
Yeah, when they took a 6-0 commanding lead at the time. But he did make some errors out there, or at least some really questionable routes to these balls. We saw one today too, which we'll get into in the next game. But like, what are you thinking about his routes to the balls? Like on some of those line drives, my dad's like, "Boy, he could have caught that if he just came up a little. Why'd he go back on it?" Like, what do you think that's attributed
to? You know, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, we were talking about his at bats a little bit earlier, and how he has improved from 2020, yet he's not quite there. And it's really apparent with his defense. His defense last year for those few games before he got hurt looked great.
Mm-hmm.
He was on it, making good throws. And this year it's like he's regressed again.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand it. There's just some guys who aren't built for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really, really hoping that Adell is not one of those guys. It's still too early to do that. There's a lot of guys who've given up on him. There's a lot of people on our show, hashtag Adell and Rendon suck, right?
Yes.
We get those all the time. And the thing is, we can't give up on Joe Adell just yet, right? He's making league minimum for a few more years. Well, I think he's got 1 more year of league minimum.
Yes.
And then after that, we're still talking about a guy who's going to be making $1 to $2 million in arbitration. The potential is still there. If you're going to trade him for a sizable piece in a trade, great. But the problem is everyone's saying trade Adell. I mean, are we really going to be able to get what we want for trading Joe Adell? You're going to be disappointed by what we get. If you were to trade him, you'll maybe get a Taylor Ward type guy, a guy who has upside, a guy who might be there. And everyone right now is like, hey, man, Taylor Ward. I mean, that'd be great if we got another Taylor Ward. Yeah, we're talking about a guy who's batting 300 right now, but we're talking about a guy whose career batting average is in the 240s.
Mm-hmm.
That's who Taylor Ward is, a guy who has upside, a guy who was a first-round draft pick, a guy who should be at a certain level. Is he there yet? Maybe, but if he's not, you're going to regret it.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't give up on Joe Adell just yet. Are you ready to just throw the towel on him already?
No, even if I was, he's lowered his stock. We got to hope for him to get on a hot streak, and them have a player in mind to deal him, and someone that, trade partner like Cincinnati or someone like that that's way out of it. But, I think it's too early for that. And I think his play is overshadowing the underperformances of your boy, you just brought up Rendon and Walsh. Those guys have not turned it on at all. Ohtani's the big name that's always going to get a pass. He's got to get it going soon, but these guys are being overshadowed. It seems like our whipping boy has been Adele. Like Adele's just gotten all the hate right now, and there's other glaring holes in this lineup.
Yeah. Ohtani can get away with it a little bit because he's been pitching fine. His pitching's been okay. That has not been the issue. And at the end of the day, if Ohtani is going to give me a Cy Young caliber season, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If he's going to bat, 220 or whatever. I mean, obviously that's not great, but we can find another DH for a little bit if we need to. That's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough gaps right now where we can use some DHs, right?
Mm-hmm.
For instance, Matt Duffy, I know he's out right now, but when he was healthy, he was, a couple days ago, he was batting fine.
Yeah.
I would have been okay with sitting Ohtani and putting Duffy in there, especially because Ward's, taking what was supposed to be Adele's at bats.
True. And we got options unlike last year. I think we brought that up a lot. And, getting back to this game, they jumped out to a 6-0 lead. If you're an Angel fan, and you had something to do, you probably cut the game off thinking it's over. Mike Lorenzen's cruising. And, he got into the 9th inning, which on hindsight being 2020, I was really on board with him starting the 9th until I realized he had been sitting for 30 minutes when the Angels added on a couple tack on runs. And when he came out there in the 9th, man, he did not have it.
Definitely did not. But you know what? I am happy that Joe Madden let a pitcher work through a game. I mean, he had a chance there to make it all the way.
He sure did. And, he gave him a chance, like you said. And then I was good with him making the call to the bullpen. But what I wasn't good with is what you brought up, and I reiterated a bunch of times on the post-game show, is you put it right away. Why are they bringing in Raciel Iglesias in a non-save situation?
I got a lot of hate for that.
Well, yeah, you said it a bunch of times last year in April when look, I'll say it, if you guys participated in our show or whatever, even before we started this channel or whatever, when Raciel got started and he was, for the Angels closer tagged as the guy, guys like Fernando and mostly him would be like, hey man, why is he having such a bad April? People were dogging on him, but he was coming in bad situations that Madden would bring him in tie games, where they're down a run or they're up 4 or 5. It's like, why are you bringing in Raciel? And his ERA was ballooned because he didn't have that mindset. And I think we saw it again in Chicago. He came out there thinking, okay, I just got to get these last 2 outs. Not a big deal. And he couldn't get anybody.
Well, especially because we have other options, right?
Yeah.
We have Loop, we have Tepera, who eventually came in to get the save.
Mm-hmm.
But we have other guys. Why use Raciel there when you don't have to? Bring Tepera in, bring Loop in, and then go from there. If you need to use Raciel, then at that point, it's a game situation. He has a different mindset. Closers, it's all about mindset.
Absolutely. And then do you agree with me on this one? They rushed him out there. He didn't have his normal warm-ups. It's just like, oh, here, throw a few pitches and go back out. It's like, what? So it got real dicey. And, they had the bases loaded with 2 outs. And they had just knocked in another run, thanks, because Adele had made a terrible move on a ball in that inning as well, second one of the game. And, Tepera fortunately got the hitter to ground out weakly to first to end the game. But, boy, Chicago fans getting crazy. I thought it was going to be one of those insane walk-offs, But they got the W in that one.
Man, I went to a White Sox game last year and they walked off.
Oh man, they weren't pulling the shirts off like they were in this one, were they?
No.
Okay, that was something new. I thought that was the rally dad bod. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. That was a really close game there. I mean, I think you were the one who said that's not a game that the Angels of last year win.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking.
That's a game that the Angels of last year lose, for sure.
And did you see on the telecast, bro? I thought it was really cool to see Lorenzen the first guy he hugs is Iglesias, and they were before they knew that the last out was there. They weren't even looking at what was happening on the field. They were reviewing the tablets to see where they missed. I thought that was the coolest thing. And you saw Iglesias be like, "Hey, my bad," and Lorenzen's like, "I got you, man. No worries."
I mean, remember these guys were teammates with Cincinnati.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean,
They played on the Reds for really both of their careers.
I was just saying that like the chemistry between the two of them and the pitching staff in general is light years away from what it was last year or the year before.
The chemistry in their team.
Oh yeah, in general, right?
I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing this year. They look like they're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
We're not used to seeing that.
No, we're not.
No, not.
We were begging for some sort of some sort of chemistry, some sort of celebration, anything last year, and we never got it. So as
They
far
got
as
that ugly belt, remember?
oh that yeah, but wasn't it only it came out like once or twice with Adele or something like that?
Yeah, we didn't see it much. You think the cowboy hat makes it to the end of the year?
Good question. I mean, that article that Madden brought up about maybe switching the hats, for Boston, making it like a Tea Party hat. I don't know, but I think the cowboy hat, I'd like to see that all year, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, it's got to be a better quality cowboy hat according to some of our fans.
yeah, they want the real deal stuff.
Yeah, that's a $30 hat.
You got to get the real one with that little skeleton on the front or whatever. But
Yeah, right.
so they were at that point in a 4-game series, 2 out of 3, doing the old rally Chris winning. But they had one more to play, which was this morning, which was getaway day, and that featured the pitching match above.
It was the pitching matchup of Patrick Sandoval and Cease for the White Sox. And let me tell you, man, Dylan Cease had a really good game today. I mean, that's not a name that I was very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I'm a fan of his from what I saw today. It looks like a really, really good pitcher. I mean, he's got a 2.48 ERA right now.
Yeah, I was really first off, I was blown away by his mustache.
Yeah, the porn stash.
Yeah, that was pretty excellent right there. I like that. But the second one, second thing that blew me away about him is just his fastball, dude, was so lively. And the hitters had a hard time, even Trout in this game, who had the golden sombrero today. He struck out 3 times against him. He looked overmatched. So it's not easy to overmatch the GOAT. And he did pretty easily today. And Sandoval, credit to him. I mean, he had no runs given up before this game in 3 starts. And he allowed 2 runs early because of our boy Nadell not making a catch in left field. And then also following that up by letting it roll by him, so the runners advanced. But he gave up those 2 runs, and he locked it down after that. He was pretty good after that. So thoughts on Sandy in a gritty performance?
Yeah, I mean, I like what he's done up to this point this season. This was just kind of the first game where it looked like his stuff just wasn't quite there. And, 3 earned runs isn't a horrible performance, but when your offense is, MIA, there's really not much you can do. I mean, 6-inning pitch, 3 earned runs. I mean, that's still a quality start.
Absolutely.
But, he wasn't going to stay with the 0 ERA the entire year. As much as it was fun to dream, we knew it wasn't going to happen.
True. And also, I want to get your thoughts on our boy Rendon. 4th scheduled day off already. And this is 6 total. Remember, they had 2 off dates scheduled. And so he's been also given 4 scheduled off dates. What do you think about that, dude?
I think Rendon likes to eat nachos.
But are we babying this guy too much? I mean, I get it. He's off an injury and we want him to get started, but how can you get in a groove if you're constantly having a day off?
I have no idea. When Ohtani got his day off, they said they had to hide his baseball cleats. You know what I mean? Because he did not want to have the day off.
Yes.
I feel like Rendon is just kind of like, yo, day off. Who wants to go to Wings and Things? I don't know. You think Rendon's a Wings and Things kind of guy? I think he's probably more like a Panda Express tofu kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm feeling he eats a lot of food with chopsticks. Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, a lot of like craft beers and chopsticks.
Yeah. IPAs.
Yeah, right. Right. Super frat boy.
I just don't understand though. We've talked about this too. It's like, where he's starting to go the other way, and then all of a sudden, like, he'll have one good game, one bad game, and then he'll have a day off. It's like, what are we doing here? I'd like him to get in there and play every day. And if not, I mean, like, maybe use that as an opportunity where, okay, you don't want to push him too much in the field. What if you just DH him with, switch up Ohtani, give him a day off, and throw, him as a DH and put someone else at third? But
well, that'd make too much sense, wouldn't it? I mean, when you're paying a guy $30+ million,
yeah,
you got to give him days off.
But we'll milk those guys for 100,000. That's for sure. A few 100,000. But this was a frustrating game. The Angels struck out a total 15 times out of 27 outs. So that was very frustrating. They struck out more than they hit today. Not much contact, not much threat on the base pads. And the bullpen kept their end of the deal. So did the Sandoval with starting rotation. You should have a chance to come back when only down 3, but they couldn't muster anything. The bullpen closed it out for Chicago. Kendricks got a really easy save in the 9th inning.
Yeah, they went. Trout made the last out, right?
Yep, struck out to get the golden sombrero.
Yeah, who was the nacho night tonight? I didn't get to watch the post game tonight. I was working.
I was going to give it to Trout, but Adele's error early in the game, and then the fact that he looked overmatched out there even more than the other hitters, he had an overall bad game again.
I would have given it to Trout just for the simple fact of when are you going to be able to give it to Trout next?
Yeah, that's true. That's
you know what I mean? It's like he's probably, he never really is overmatched in games. It's been a long time since I've seen him wearing golden sombrero. Very long time.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to go as far as Grillmaster saying DFA him, that he's terrible. But
he's a Grillmaster.
Yeah, but
come on, Grillmaster, aren't you going to college? Like, come on, man, you should know better than that.
Exactly. There's just certain players you don't slander. You don't go out there and say, "Oh, Townie's got to go," and all this other stuff. It's like, come on, man, come on.
Let me guess. Did he say no Kurt Suzuki slander today? He got a hit.
Yeah, he actually did. I'm like, no, he still dropped the ball at home. He's, and that's the other thing. You get a rally started.
Go home, Grillmaster. You're drunk.
You get a rally started in the 7th or 8th inning. I think Kurt led off with a single, right? And it's at first I was screaming, how come we're not pinch hitting? He was 0 for 3 at that point. He gets a single, and then I'm like, okay, he's at first, pinch run. Nope. Madden doesn't even think twice. He doesn't go to the bench at all. And then you would think Velasquez is going to bunt him over. Yes, they're down 3, but you got to get some momentum or hit and run, something. And Velasquez is swinging for the fences. The next guy's swinging for the fences, and then a strikeout.
Yeah. Joe Manning should have doubled down and been like, Kurt Suzuki, steal. Steal.
Because at that point, when Ohtani came in, it's like even if the dude doubles, Kurt's not going to score. He's going to barely get to third base.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. It was just a rough game to see. I mean, one of our worst games of the season.
Absolutely. And here's the thing I want to ask you. So we talk about this all the time about winning series, and that if you win series at a consistent basis, you're going to make the playoffs. If they would have won today, they would have been 16-8, 24 games in. They would have had a win percentage of 66%, which adds up to winning 2 out of 3 of every baseball game you play. So with that being said, they fell one shy of that. But thoughts on their 15-9 start to you? What is that? How do you feel about that after this series?
I mean, you're almost at Rally Chris levels, right? 2-3, or even Roger Lodge. Yeah. I think the Angels are going to go 2-3. I've never been so sure of anything like this since I saw John Stamos' beautiful rod in his pants.
Exactly. Since he was sporting that wood on that hot sunny day.
I looked over and saw his bulge, and oh boy.
Then I knew the boys of summer had returned.
The dog days of summer were here. Woof, woof.
I told Stamos I got buns for that dog.
All right. Well, we know what the title of this episode is. Yeah. Buns for that dog by Ty.
We always have to
You heard it here,
sprinkle.
folks, guys. You heard it here first.
That was Lodge's lock right there.
I've got puns for that dog. Oh, toss canceled. Okay.
Yeah, 12. So
Another one.
yeah, exactly. So thoughts on their record so far? You think they're 15-9? Was that what you were thinking? Because I think that was pretty close to your prediction.
Yeah, I'd have to listen back, but I definitely predicted a winning month. I mean, the bullpen's good, man. The bullpen's going to be one of the better ones in baseball. It's only going to get better as Joe Madden hopefully learns how to use these guys. And, as our boy Ty comes up and, hopefully he can replace a weaker link if there is one at the time. I mean, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And if, Ty Buttrey and Herget are your weakest links, that's pretty good because those are not weak links.
Not at all. Those would have been our strongest links the last couple of years.
Yeah, and they were literally 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, Herget last year was one of our weakest links, and Buttrey was, one of our strongest links 2 years ago. And no disrespect to those guys. Those guys are obviously major leaguers for a reason. But yeah, much different too.
Yeah, and this as we approach into May, as we finish up this series, or at least start this one with Boston, we again, Boston doesn't have a winning record right now. They've been scuffling pitching wise. Hitting, they're still dangerous, but
9-14, Todd.
Yeah, 9-14. We're not used to seeing Boston like that. But
no, you can basically reverse our record.
Yeah,
and it's what they have.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. They're still hitting right now, but I think pitching wise, we're not in this matchup with Boston. We're not getting a Baldy, who usually pitches pretty good against us, or Pivetta. We're not facing either one of those guys, so that's kind of good.
Yeah, so we're facing Michael Wacha, Garrett Whitlock on Wednesday, and then Thursday we're facing Rich Hill.
Yeah, which Rich Hill we've actually had pretty good success against when he pitched with, I believe, the Dodgers and the Mariners.
Dodgers, yeah.
Yeah, so he's
Dodgers, yeah.
Bounced around a little bit. We've hit him pretty good, so hopefully we could do the same in Fenway. What are the matchups? Because I only know that we're locked in for one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so Tuesday, May 3rd, which will be when you guys are listening to this, most likely, Noah Syndergaard, who's 2-0 with the 2.12 ERA and 11 strikeouts, will go up against Michael Wacha, who's also 2-0 with the 1.77 ERA and 17 strikeouts. That's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a great matchup.
Mm-hmm. A lot of ground ball outs, I think.
Yes. And then we don't have anything announced for Wednesday or Thursday, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, the rumor is between Detmers, Suarez, and Ohtani, from what I heard. But
Suarez got sent down, so we'd have to get called back up.
Yeah, that's what Madden was saying. He could be the go-to guy to come up right there, but we'll have to see. Like you said, we'll probably get more idea of how the rest of the rotation is going to look come tomorrow, either after the game or right before the game. Madden will start giving the details on that. What do the Angels need for success in this series in Boston, in your opinion?
They need to trust their game. They need to simplify what they're doing. They need to go back to having productive at-bats. When you're having productive at-bats, everything else just kind of goes with it. And, I mean, that seemed like a super cliche to say. It seems like a super, you're just throwing that out there, have a good at-bat. But it's true. Having a good at-bat changes the tone in the clubhouse, changes the tone of the dugout, in the lineup. If you had a good at-bat, the guy behind you is going to do whatever they can to try to compete with what you just did, right?
Yeah.
And a good at-bat doesn't mean getting a hit. It doesn't mean getting a home run. It means going up there and seeing more than 3 to 4 pitches. If a starter, okay, I thought you said read. I was like, what?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, if you're making the pitcher throw 4 pitches, the pitcher's going to be pretty tired pretty quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking through 3 times through the lineup, you're already at 112 pitches, which most pitchers aren't throwing these days.
Yeah, so you're going to dive into the bullpen at some point, and you want to get into a bullpen game in a place like Boston. Keys for me in this game is played to the strengths of that field. Try to pull the ball if you are, or go the other way down those short perches, either in right field with a little McCovey Cove. Not McCovey Cove. What's that called again? I mixed up ballparks.
Pesky's pole.
Pesky's pole down that right field line. Try to hit off the green monster. Don't be trying to like rip the ball to center field, right center field. That's a long way to hit it, and likely it's just gonna be an easy out. And I think base running is key. Whenever you play Boston, it just seems like it's quicker to get around those base pads. So get guys on, like you said, have good at bats, and work the counts in your favor if you can, and make the pitcher beat you with a pitch that's in the zone or at least hittable, instead of flailing away like a Joe Adele and Marsh were over the Chicago series. Have a little bit more patience, and hopefully that returns, because the way they were playing against the Guardians and against the Orioles.
Yeah, and those were good examples. I mean, against the Guardians, they weren't trying to do too much. They even against the Rangers, a couple series before that, weren't trying to do too much. They simplified what they were doing. Their bullpen is pitching fine right now. Even their starters are not horrible right now. So just keep doing that. Have some good at-bats. Go back to the fundamentals of your at-bats. Once again, try to force these longer at-bats. Even if you go down looking every single time, all of a sudden the pitcher in a situation where they're having to throw a lot of pitches to get through the lineup 2 or 3 times.
Absolutely. I mean, by far, you'd like to at least get him to throw 15 to 20 pitches per inning. It's not always that it's going to work that way, but if you can get him to do that, that's quicker. They're out of there.
When I was playing baseball, the goal was always to try to get the pitcher to throw 20 to 30 pitches in that first inning. I don't care if every single person strikes out. If we can get to 20 or 30 pitches in that first inning, we've already set the tone. We've already won that inning.
Yeah, and then
baseball's a chess game.
Absolutely. Even if you strand the bases loaded, you got a lot of guys on. You got a lot of guys to see that pitcher's stuff, and so his repertoire has been blown through. He's not just shocking people with 1 or 2 pitches in a quick inning.
Yeah, he's had to throw his 3rd, 4th pitch.
Yeah, exactly. So, couple questions on this series for me to you, and I'll give my answers on this one. Breakout player to watch for the Red Sox. Like that we have to watch out for, and 2, which guy are you predicting that's going to either break out of a slump or have a good series for the Angels?
So the guy to look out for them has to be Xander Bogaerts, right? I mean, he's one of the best shortstops in baseball, and that feels kind of like an easy name to just throw out there. But I mean, you got to look out for him in the lineup. Okay.
And then breakout Angels player, someone do you think is going to have a big series for the Angels?
I think Ohtani is going to start to settle in here. I mean, Ohtani just has too much talent. We've seen him struggle on the bump before, but we're not really used to seeing him struggle from the batter's box. We saw it in 2020, but that year was a wash anyway. Besides that, Ohtani's always been confident inside the batter's box. I don't know what it is right now. I don't know if maybe it's the groin issue. Maybe it's worse than we thought it was. But assuming he plays, I think he's going to have a big series. I mean, he's due. He's going to start having good at-bats. And, I mean, what a better place to do it than, the Little League field that is Fenway Park.
Yeah, it seems like with Ohtani's power, I mean, if he just gets under one, it's going to mistakenly get out. So I'm hoping you're right, because there's nothing I would like to see more than him get going. Walsh, like for me, it's Walsh. I would love to see Walsh get going. I think he's just been a little off on his swings. He's trying to pull the ball too much. He's swinging over pitches. They seem to be giving him a lot of off-speed stuff where he's thinking fastball and swinging over the top of something that's dying in the zone, and he's just hitting weak ground balls to right. So I'm hoping he can start making some solid contact, because when he does and when Ohtani does, the world just seems a lot better, and the balls fly out a lot farther. I am just scared of the Red Sox lineup in general in a situation in a close game. I think no lead is safe for me up there in Boston for whatever reason. I've seen it happen many times. I've seen Percival shit the bed in the back in the day. Frankie Rodriguez in his prime, same thing. It's just a tough place to play. So I'm hoping the Angels, when they do score, they score enough to make it non-butt clinching situation.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention they also have Trevor Story there, which I forgot about. Rafael Devers is another big name. Christian Arroyo, Jackie Bradley Jr. has been there for quite a while. And then, JD Martinez, who I believe is still day to day, and you can never sleep on Enrique Hernandez or Alex Verdugo. I mean, those guys would burn us in Dodgers uniforms. So
Absolutely. They'd be the clutch hitters. So again, they're 9-14 for a reason. I think a lot of it has to do with that division, but the pitching staff has not has not gotten off to a good start. They've underperformed a lot. I'm blown away how the Yankees won 10 straight tonight. Toronto's been up there. Tampa Bay's been winning, but Boston is a really good, solid number 4, but they're 5 games under. So they'll eventually get it going, but it's just like Gooby said, hopefully it doesn't happen against us. Hopefully it happens after we play them.
Hey, we'll get to see our boy Caballo Blanco too.
Who's that?
Hansel Robles.
Oh, he's with them now.
He is. Well, didn't he go with them last year?
Yeah, you're right. I
believe he did.
You're right. Now, is he being used as a setup guy, or is he still the closer?
Setup guy, I believe. Yeah, he did go to Boston last year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it seems like when he left the Angels, I lost track of him, dude. Like I was just like, okay, I was done. I loved his intro. I thought that was cool as hell, but
yeah, the Undertaker intro.
Yeah, and he always had that one dude in the suite with the electrified horse head. That was pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, any thoughts? Any more on the series upcoming, or the White Sox, or Angels news in general that you got?
I'm gonna put on my Rally Chris outfit and be like, the Angels are gonna take 2 of 3. Catella High School or whatever he went to.
Home of the Leprechauns. I've got the Angels 2 out of 3 as well.
Ooh, you're Roger Lodge. You're Roger Lodge coming out.
Lodge's luck. I have got that hot dog ready for them buns. Give me 2. 2 in the buns. We're going to get it done.
2 in the buns. You know what they say, 1 in the pink, 2 in the buns. Sincerely, Roger Lodge.
That's extremely painful. But anyway, 2 out of 3.
It's what we do best.
Exactly. 2 out of 3 in Beantown sounds good to me. That would give them a road trip of 4-3, which all things considered is not a bad trip. So I would take that.
Definitely. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, we just want to win series, and we want to win road trips or home stints.
Exactly. We do this, we win series like you said, and we can pretty much be in control of our division as far as beating up on the lesser teams like Oakland and Texas, and then trying to win series against Seattle. I think whatever we do against Houston is gravy. I think they're still our main competition, but the Mariners are going to be that team, man. They're playing good baseball right now too. So we've got some matchups with them upcoming here in June. So it's not May. We still got to wait a while before we see them for the first time.
Yeah, and then after the Red Sox, we got the Nationals, the Rays, the A's, the Rangers, the A's, the Rangers, the Blue Jays, and 1 day of the Yankees at the very, very end of the month. So it'll be an interesting month to say the least.
Absolutely. So hopefully we can, fingers crossed, stay relatively healthy and get some guys back too that have been battling certain things, and hopefully tune up the bats for a very competitive June and July. I mean, I can't express how competitive it's going to be in those next 2 months, barring any catastrophic injuries from any other teams. It's really going to be from what I've seen in a long time, a really tough schedule for the Angels to blow through. A good 60-game stretch right there where it's just like constant teams that are flirting with or playoff contenders.
I mean, they could easily set themselves up for success here. I mean, if they can have a good May, that'll bleed into a at least decent June and July, right? Because you can build the confidence right now. So
absolutely, because most of your out of division games are going to be within those 2 months. You're going to have a few more in August, and then it's basically going to be all division September. So those are the key 2.5 month stretch right there where the Angels just got to bear down and play as hard as they possibly can.
Well, I mean, time will tell, right? I mean, time to go put some ketchup on those buns.
Exactly.
And get to work.
I like mustard and then a little sauerkraut, to be honest with you.
I like relish on my wieners. I like relish on my Hoffies. Hoffy, the official wiener of Angels baseball.
If he was calling games, oh, tiny with a deep fly ball, that's a huge Hoffy home run.
For those of you guys who don't know, I'm a big like theme park guy.
Mhm.
So do you know? So when you walk into Disneyland, the castle, right?
Mhm.
Do you know the slang term that amusement park fans use to describe like a castle or something meant to catch your eye? So like the castle or like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at California Adventure. Do you know what the slang term that's called?
No idea.
It's called the wiener, the weenie. For real. Like it's a legitimate phrase used by theme park fans to describe like something that's supposed to catch your eye. The
Or
weenie.
The we. Okay.
Yeah, so you're supposed to be like, oh, look at the weenie, it's the castle, or look at the weenie and it's Space Mountain. Like that's like something. Maybe we need to do that. The weenie at Angel Stadium's like the rocks. Look at the weenie.
That would be pretty cool. Like your boy that works on the cameras or whatever, if he can get on the jumbotron and then just have like a dancing wiener
The
by
weenie can.
like by a player who hits the home run or whatever. A little wiener. Look at the wiener.
I'll see what I can do. I already sent some messages to some commentators and told them to use some of our terms, which may or may not happen. So stay tuned.
Oh man.
I gave up the rights to Prendalo. So if he uses it, it'll be okay.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna do a Roger Lodge if he uses that live on television.
No, I'm gonna be like, you're stealing that from me. That is mine. Stop saying it. No, I wouldn't do that.
Man, I'm telling you, that would be it'd be awesome if Matt Vasgersian said instead of what was his saying is Santa Maria instead of Santa Maria, he's like, oh, Tony, oh, just started grunting.
Maybe he will.
Yeah,
he's around now. Matt, if you're listening, we love you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for following.
I'm a big fan. I was actually telling my fiance today that other kids want to sleep with stories of whatever else. I don't know, the Big Bad Wolf. I don't know, whatever kind of BS their parents were telling them. I would go to sleep listening to the Padres games in San Diego with Matt Vasgersian commentating because we didn't get Angels games down there. My dad wasn't going to pay for extra innings. My dad's extreme. I don't want to say cheapskate. He's frugal. He's good with his money.
I could appreciate.
So he was like, I'm not going to pay an extra $100.
Yeah, why not? Right?
Yeah, this wasn't back in the day where you can watch a game on your smartphone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was back in the days where like you'd have to yell at your mom to get off the phone so you can use the internet.
That's why, kids, in about a year, if you still do know what DirecTV is, you won't know because I think this is the last year they're having the football package. It's going to go to I think Google or Apple, one of the two. And that's the only reason why people are still hooked into cable or DirecTV in general. Boy, once the NFL ticket's gone, forget it.
Dude, cable will not be around or relevant in 5 years.
Yep.
It's already to the point where it's not relevant anymore. I mean, I got rid of cable for the first time in my life 2 months ago. Haven't even noticed the difference. Can't even tell the difference.
Yeah, because if you got a Fire Stick, it's all about apps. It's finding out which app has what shows. That's the only problem, because it could be different stuff what is it called? If you like Discovery or you like Disney Plus,
Paramount or Disney or
HBO, it's stuff like that. I mean they've totally broken away from cable. And the only reason why I have it on one TV here is because my dad, he can't do the new stuff, so he just uses old school. Other than that, we cut the cable throughout the house. There's no need for it.
Yeah, I'll say this before we close out. The guy, we're moving, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I had to call a ton of cable providers, try to figure out what caters in the area because we're moving to a very new area of Texas, brand new houses, brand new community. We're one of the first people to live there. So only certain places would service it. And the guy was trying to tell me, oh, well, you should get this cable package. And I'm like, no, bro, we're good. I just need the internet. And he was like, I don't know when the last time you had cable was, but now they have this stuff called on demand. And I'm just like, bro, I got rid of cable like 2 months ago. And secondly, that is not new. On demand's been around for, half a decade plus.
I thought he was gonna be like, hey, so Blockbuster has this service where they mail DVDs to your house.
Yeah, Netflix. There's this new thing called Netflix where if you want a DVD, you order it on the internet and it gets sent to you. You watch it and then you send it back.
And there's no rewinding.
Yeah. We have this new thing. Your VHR is your TV has a VHS player attached to it. You put the VCR in there, push stop and rewind. That way you don't have to close your eyes during the good parts.
Oh man, they're so far behind over there. Ugh.
Well, on that outdated note,
Yeah. Well, so far that's our first impressions of you moving to Texas. We'll obviously hear more from your because obviously during this podcast and everything during the season, we're going to be keeping you up to date on what's going on here, and also Fernando will be doing remotes from Texas now, and then hopefully, if all goes right, I can join him in September for a couple games down there in Texas and do a little remote down there as well. Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, if you got anything else, Fernando? Okay.
I think we're good. Viva Los Angelitos. Let's sweep the Red Sox. I know I predicted 2 out of 3, but I mean, if we can go for a sweep, why not?
Let's beat those chowder heads, huh?
The chowder heads. I'm walking here, even that's New York. Bing bong.
Go Angels.